Boom, here we have 9 free plugins from Waves and the new free Waves plugin pack. So real quick, we'll go over them, show you what they are, and then where you can pick them up for yourself. The first free plugin is Waves AudioTrack. This is a channel strip plugin, so you have your EQ in here along with your gate and compressor, all easy to use, you know, quick to set up.
I may be down, but I'm not out.
Right, I could pop it on, do whatever EQ I want.
Look into my eyes, there.
Put some compression on it.
No doubt, I found my place.
Of course, I could use, different presets that are in here. One cool one is the vocal screamer, so that sets it all up for me.
Against the grain, count every loss. It's always gain, gain.
Right, if you want that sort of screamer sound there, of course, do whatever you want. Use it on whatever instruments, vocals that you want. The next plugin is Waves IR Live. This is a convolution reverb. So I'll turn it off first.
I can't seem to look away.
All right, sounds good, but it needs some reverb, so we'll turn this on. Super easy to use here. Different types, chambers, plays. These are impulse responses, so it's going to sound very, very natural. Just start with a hall. Things like pre-delay, reverb time, mix, pretty self-explanatory. You even have damping for the high and the low here.
I can't seem to look away.
Right, sounds great.
I'm hypnotized.
Just whatever you want. Super easy to use. Maybe make it sound like it's in a chamber here. We'll go to a chamber 3 right there. You can see the impulse response there.
I'm hypnotized by you.
So I can do things on the damping, for example. If I really want that top end to continue on and kind of ring out.
Hypnotized by you.
Hear it, how it fades down and how that top end is present, or I can damp that top end and I can maybe pull up the low end, make it a bit of a meatier reverb. Of course, change the reverb time and dry wet mix, all that stuff.
Hypnotized by you.
You hear the difference there in the echo and the reverb. Next plugin is Lil Tube. This is Magma Lil Tube, by the way. Whenever you're looking up in your plugin list, if you're just looking for Lil Tube, you're not going to find it. You'll have to look for Magma Lil Tube, and then you'll find it. So this is just a saturator, one knob saturator, and you can change the sensitivity. Pretty straightforward. This plugin was free before, and it's free again. So just bypass it for now. Just a drum loop, right? Simple drum loop. Add some saturation, bring out some articulation of that, make it a bit more exciting sounding, right? Right? You can really hear that on those cymbals. Put it up on high if I kind of want to crush it, make it kind of lo-fi. Sounds kind of cool. But for this, I think normal. Just brings a bit out of it. Right, I bypass it. Back on. Right, makes it sound bigger. The snare and the cymbals are just a bit more articulate. So there's another free plugin. Now, the next one is Flow Motion, which is a synth. So you also get an instrument. Of course, whenever you first load it up, it's going to sound like that. Of course, you can do whatever you want here. You have all kinds of motion things that you can drag and drop to different places, right? But it also comes with tons of different presets. So I'll just grab something sort of randomly there. This is the arpeggiator. A motion page there. That's just an arpeggiator preset, maybe a melodic sequence preset. These are pretty cool. Watch this here. Right. Just on a preset. You could make a song out of that just using that preset. Really cool. All right, so that is Flow Motion. Again, 100% free. The next free plugin is Waves GTR Solo. Obviously a guitar and bass amp cabinet. Now, I have the full version, so if you see some things in here that you don't have, I have Waves Mercury, so I have everything. So if you see things in here, you may not have everything if you don't have that. So start with it off, of course. Sort of a metal riff. Okay, let's bring in our amp. different amp types. Again, I want to stress that I happen to have everything, so you may not have everything that I have here. That sounds pretty good. Of course, change up our cabinet. Change up your microphone. You even have a tuner built in here. Preset manager there. And even stomp boxes all set up here. Again, you may not have all the stomp boxes that I have, but do all of this in one interface. And they actually, GTR has been out for a while, but it actually still sounds pretty good. Maybe we'll go over to a sort of a cleaner amp, maybe something kind of sweet. And let's go over here and try this out here. So. All right, sounds good, right? But it needs something. So let's pop over to our stomps. We'll pop on our effects here. There we go. Really cool. GTR Solo 100% for free, folks. What else do we got here? Next one is Waves V-Comp. This is like a vintage compressor, a Neve style compressor. I'll just start with it off. Drums. So if I want to add some vintage feel to that with vintage color, pop that on. Right. Immediately bring it out. Gives it some character. Well, of course, leveling everything out because it is a compressor. All right, bypass it there again. Back on. Tons of presets in here. Get you started. The next free plugin is Waves V-EQ3. Again, a vintage style EQ from the Neve consoles. So again, pretty simple to figure out, right? Guitar and pop it on. So right here, of course, we're changing the boost of the cut. And then over here on the outside, on the outer ring, we can choose the frequency that we're centered around. Okay, pretty simple stuff. Analog or not right there. Okay, moving on. The next free plugin that you get. Now this one is already free, but this is Waves StudioVerse, what used to be called Studio Rack. They really should call it Studio Rack because StudioVerse makes no sense. But essentially what this is a plugin rack. So you can load up all of your different Waves plugins and create your plugin chains in here. If you don't have a lot of Waves, Waves plugins, no problem. You can load up all of your VST3 plugins. So something from IK Multimedia, Isotope, Native Instruments, etc., etc. Create full plugin chains. You have macro knobs. You have things like parallel splits that you can do. Drag it over here. Tons of stuff that you can, do in this. So, if you're creating plugin chains, like Studio One, for example, has plugin chains built in. But if I were to use a different DAW, then I would have to recreate these plugin chains in the DAW because I can't just transfer this plugin chain to a different DAW, right? But if I create this plugin chain within StudioVerse, or what I still call Studio Rack, then I could open that exact plugin chain, all the different settings, right? Exactly. Open that up in any DAW or even video editor. I could share it with other people, upload it. You can, you can even download different plugin chains from other people. Again, let me stress, I have Mercury, so I happen to have all the plugins. So if you get this and you try to use maybe this here, I'll click on this one here. It's going to download this this preset, and it's all these 3 different plugins. This is what it loaded up for me just by grabbing that that preset. It's also got a parallel split on it there with different effects all buried inside that parallel split. Okay. So if I don't know what it sounds like. We'll see.
Lonely in the mornings when you're gone.
Great. And as you can see here, they already set up some macro knobs and stuff.
Lonely in the mornings when you're gone. Happy in the evenings we get along. I just want you with me.
There's even things you can do in this where you search by audio. You can actually play
All
audio.
the time. Is it too much to ask that?
And it finds that it's a female vocal, and it gives me a bunch of different presets here that I could just grab. It's going to download and then load all those different plugins up for me, right? Which is pretty cool. Again, let me stress, I have Mercury, so I have all the plugins. If you do that and you don't have the plugins, then it's not going to load.
All the time.
That one sounds pretty good.
Is it too much to ask?
Okay, so if you don't have all the Waves plugins, no big deal. You can always subscribe, or you can just again create your own plugin chains with whatever VST3 plugins that you want. Really cool. I mean, this is a really cool. I mean, things are getting so much easier in terms of mixing and all that kind of stuff. This is really the new way that people are going to do things. They're just basically going to call up a preset, and it's really all there is to it. So the next free plugin, the last and final free plugin, is Waves StudioVerse Instruments, which is just basically the same thing as Studio Rack, but this is for instruments. So it's the same thing, but for instruments. So again, load up whatever Waves instruments that you have. I have all of them, but I can load up Contact, for example, FM8, Superior Drummer 3. I could create an entire rack of 4, 5, 6 different instruments, create macro knobs for all those things, do things like instrument layers, and of course recall those in any DAW, trade them with friends or people that you're working with. And you can also, just like the other Studio Rack, we can also just search what other people have created here. Maybe I want something called Phantom. I have no idea what this is, but I'm just going to click on it. It's going to download it and load it up for me. And this is using codecs. You can see codecs there. It's got a Q4 there. It's got an Abbey Road here. It's got a lot of stuff, right? Already set up for us. So then I'll just press a key on my keyboard. Pretty cool. Of course, I could search in here for something that you want, maybe like some sort of a pad sound. Let's go for a string pad, perhaps. Maybe let's go for a biggest pad. That sounds kind of cool. Loads it up real quick. It's got a key and scale, transpose, and then it's using the element synth. Isn't that cool, man? Again, if you don't have all the plugins, you could always subscribe to whatever they're calling the subscription now. I think they call it StudioVerse now. But again, load up your own VST3 plugins, your instruments, right within StudioVerse Instruments as well. Okay, so all of those 100% for free. Get it right over here. Of course, the link will be in the description below. And a really cool thing about these is not only are they 100% free, they also have with future updates included. So then that means you don't have to worry about WUP for these plugins. Okay, again, I have a link in the description below for you to pick up your new Waves free plugin pack. Get it for free. Lots of cool plugins, over $200 worth of value, assuming that they actually sold them for $35 each. But whatever. Get yourself really cool channel strip, easy to use channel strip, really nice reverb, sounds great. Lil Tube, got your flow motion again, got your GTR Solo, got your V-Comp, VEQ3, StudioVerse audio effects, and StudioVerse instrument. Get all of those for free. Again, link in the description below.